This will be an introduction to the quick draw weaving program's ability to provide loom help. It's accessible either under the View menu with the View Threading, Treadling, Tie-Up tools, or it's also available through the icon on the screen that looks like a loom. We start with a little bit of footnoting. The loom help system actually does have a voice interface, which unfortunately is my voice, so it's a little confusing at times. When it gives you instructions, the mute function will turn off that voice if you're tired of listening to me. The save would be a discrete save now, whatever you are. If you do a mouse over on the restore, you'll notice just above the mouse here, it's telling me what file I was last working with, what thread, and whether it was warp or weft or thread link sequence or whatever. It will also access Adobe interface and find that, which will be covered by separate audio entirely. This is an update to the loom help function. You'll notice at the moment I'm using a pattern that does not have any size or color variation in it. So when I go to loom help, you'll notice the gap in the spacing here. The other thing that's happened on the restore button, it tells me the name of the file. If I click restore, it actually loads that file now. Now this file does have size variations in it because it's a multi-layer pattern. I'm just trying to mask out the hidden layers behind it. So I've now added a mute size button. So when I turn it on, the quick draw will no longer give me the size variations. And so those are the two changes to the loom help. When I go to voice, the first thing you're going to hear is my voice come back on from the loom help function. So this particular pattern I've entered has, let me go back to the pattern for a second to explain this. What I've done is I've deliberately added red color bands so that it sees a change. The thread size on this color band is 100%. On this color band is actually at 90%. So it's intended as a deliberate visible change in the threads between the two. Similar thing on the yellows. Actually, the color on the upper yellow band versus the lower yellow band are slightly different. And the reason for that is when I go back to loom help, if I ask for warp, you'll notice that it's telling me the shaft number that it should be on, a color index, which is the color number out of the palette, since I don't want to have names for a million colors here. And then the thread size, because it recognizes this pattern has multiple thread colors and multiple thread sizes. Otherwise, it would not tell me that. So now as I advance through the pattern, I'm using a space bar here. It will tell me which treadle each time I should have, as well as showing that in a large font I can see from a distance. For example, when I tab it here, this color there was the same thread. So it's now recognized the color change until there's another color change, which there would be here. So it will tell me when things change. Otherwise, it doesn't have to bother me with that. Similar change here. Similar type thing in the weft, only in this case actually has two different thread colors in it. So it just switched to a very slightly different color yellow, which is totally invisible to the human eye, but the computer recognizes a change. And using that technique, if you want to identify different thread types, different colors, sizes, there's a number of different ways. When the change is identified, there will be a voice change to tell you the indication. And that is a quick overview. There will do separate demonstrations of the warp, weft, and tie-up functions. Thank you.